I'm Pat Kiernan. Welcome to Pat's Papers. We go through U.S. newspapers, big and small, each day to choose the most interesting and most important stories. March Madness is about to start. Many newspapers with special sections today looking ahead to the NCAA basketball tournament. There's a 10-page pull-up in the Chicago Tribune. The top seeds are North Carolina and three Big East teams, Pitt, Louisville, and UConn. The Washington Post presents the brackets on the image of an old jukebox this morning. The New York Post, with its special section, says the Big East has to put up or shut up after getting three top seeds. USA Today calls it Motor City Madness, with the teams racing toward the April 4th final in Detroit. Also from USA Today this morning, and this may be the most important story of the day for some people, the secret to Sodoku. Mathematician J.F. Crook says he has figured out a simple step-by-step plan that gives you a foolproof solution to any Sodoku puzzle. Then there are other places where you can get strategy tips for Sodoku that use many of the same techniques, but he says this is the first mathematically guaranteed system for completing the puzzles. USA Today runs through the step-by-step method on the front page today. If solving Sodoku puzzles all day doesn't waste enough of your time, here's something else that should burn the entire day. The Chicago Tribune, with the 99 things on the web you must see. It's actually a list compiled by a Brooklyn-based ad man named Greg Rutter. The Tribune says this is sort of a cultural literacy guide to the emerging medium. Although if you're web savvy, you've probably seen a lot of this stuff before. Still, who can resist another spin of the dancing baby video? The AIG backlash really gained momentum over the weekend. The Daily News takes those letters and turns them into the headline, an outrage. Most of the anger is over the company's decision to go ahead with a huge pool of bonuses to the same executives who are running the company as it's led deeper and deeper into trouble. Columnist Mike Lupica doesn't buy this business about being contractually obligated to pay those bonuses. He writes, somebody needs to explain to these people that those contracts were voided when AIG took $170 billion in bailout money. AIG on the front page of the New York Times. The main focus there is on the list of beneficiaries revealed by the company. Goldman Sachs got $12.9 billion in insurance payouts on bad debt. Merrill Lynch got $6.8 billion. There's a news analysis from Times writer Adam Nagurney who says there's a populist backlash against the greed at the banks, and that backlash is strong enough that it threatens to limit the president's ability to get congressional support for future efforts to help the financial system. Two related stories on this topic on the front page of the Wall Street Journal on AIG. Directly, the headline is AIG faces growing wrath, and the main headline says the Obama administration has most of the pieces in place now for its financial industry reform plan. USA Today with a scathing editorial on this. It says the Obama administration had better find ways to stop rewarding people who made the bailouts necessary. And the Washington Post says in a rescue that's become increasingly costly and contentious, at least now we have some answers to the question, where did all the money go? The White House has come through on its promise to try to track some of the stimulus spending, according to New Hampshire's Nashua Telegraph. State officials there are working with federal officials, and you'll be able to see exactly which agencies have been given money and how it's being spent. The New York Post mourns the loss of actor and activist Ron Silver. The New York City native was most famous for his recent role as political consultant Berto Ginelli on the West Wing, and for his Republican convention address in support of George Bush in 2004. He had been fighting cancer for 2 years. A little unbelievable at first. Doctors have had some success in reducing peanut allergies by giving the kids peanuts. The Kansas City Star, among the papers picking up the Associated Press story this morning. Peanut allergies can be deadly. The story is very careful to say, do not try this at home. Doctors monitored the youngsters very closely in case they needed rescue. Peanuts were given to the allergic kids in tiny doses to build up a tolerance. A couple of stories about trade shows caught my eye this morning. The San Francisco Chronicle says working out is great for the mind and body. It can also be really boring. So much of the new exercise equipment on the market tries to add entertainment value, either making exercise itself more interesting or giving you some sort of distraction like video games that simulate snowboarding or mountain biking. And the New York Times takes us to Florida for the annual World of Asphalt show. Road builders bracing for a boom in their business with $28 billion in stimulus money budgeted to go to their industry. For the first time in 26 years, the Ford Mustang, Chevy Camaro, and Dodge Challenger are going to face off head-to-head as new models. One auto industry analyst says there's actually a demand for this type of car right now from buyers who had been driving big trucks or SUVs, but are now looking for a smaller but still tough car. The V6 Camaro will do 27 miles to the gallon on the highway. For the Space Shuttle Discovery, fourth time's a charm. Discovery's crew of 7 blasted off into space last night from Cape Canaveral. A spectacular launch photo on the front page of the Orlando Sentinel. The crew will deliver parts for the expanded solar power system at the International Space Station. As people are getting more picky about where their food's coming from, cities are relaxing laws to allow you to raise your own chickens in your backyard. The Denver Post says more than 100 cities have recently declared themselves fair game for fowl. The LA Times with a story this morning saying New England has surpassed the West Coast as the least religious region of America. The survey first reported last week. They're breaking it down regionally now. It shows since 1990 the percentage of Americans claiming no religion has nearly doubled to 15% last year. A great story in the Arizona Republic about keeping the faith. High school sweethearts reunited 60 years later. They went their separate ways. They married others after school. In 2006, though, they were widowed on opposite sides of the country. From there, the story says, on the same day, or maybe just a day apart, each mailed the other a Christmas card, and the rest came easily. Today, Jack and Wynn will get married. That's all the time we've got for today. We try to keep it to just the good stuff so we don't waste too much of your time. Glad you could be with us today and hope you can do it again tomorrow. I'm Pat Kiernan. See you next time.